Thanks very much for the kind introduction there, and thanks very much to Resource Rising Stars conference. It's without a doubt, it's one of our premier conferences that we go to. It's really great to be able to see so many retail shareholders for the company and seeing some of the institutions as well. So we don't have much time. Feel free to come up and have a chat to me afterwards. I know it's the end of the day, so yeah, feel free to come up. So we'll talk about what we've been up to. It's been a really busy 12 months for us at FireFly. I think we've probably in this time doubled the resource, and the market capitalisation's probably doubled in that last 12 months as well. We've just recently completed a capital raising that we announced today. So there's a few numbers on this presentation that are a little bit out of date, so do go onto the ASX platform to look at the latest presentation that's there. But we came out a couple of weeks ago with a resource upgrade, so we're now nearly 80 million tonnes at a pretty impressive 2.2% copper equivalent. And whenever I talk about copper equivalent in this presentation, it's our ore body is a copper ore body with a gold and silver credit. So there's no zinc, there's no lead, and there's no other weird and wonderful elements in there as well. So just think copper with a gold credit and a tiny bit of sprinkling of silver. Now, one of the other amazing things that we just came up with recently in this latest resource upgrade was this very high-grade core zone. So we've now got almost 20 million tonnes sitting there at a pretty impressive 3.9 or 4% copper equivalent. So when you sort of hear these numbers, think, for as an example, DeGrussa, which was Sandfly's company-making project, which is about the same sort of size and scale when they got into production, and that is only a small part of that overall 80 million tonnes that we have on our project, just to give you a sense of scale. So the normal disclaimers are all on the obviously ASX platform. So this is a classic VMS mineralised system. VMS mineralised systems come in clusters traditionally. We have a very high-grade copper and gold zone, which we call the upper zone, which is massive sulphides, and you can see there it is copper with gold. And then on the right-hand side is the footwall zone, and this is where a big bulk tonnage operation is. These are all true widths intersections, what you'll see in every single slide today, and so you can sort of see intersections are like 50, 60 and up to 117 metres at a fairly good grade of over 2% there. But what's been really amazing for these last few months in the latest drilling, and our latest drill hole that we drilled is actually the best drill hole that has ever been drilled on the property. And it's the furthest step out hole we've ever drilled as well, right on the very edge of the resource. And that was 49 metres at 6.1% copper equivalent. So you think about that for a moment. The best hole we've ever drilled ever is the latest hole, and it's on the edge of the resource, and it shows that it's completely open and it's part of that really high grade zone. So this is a real step change for our project, the project being a 2% copper project with big bulk tonnage mining. Now we have the super high grade zone as well. So what we like to do, we like to create value with the drill bit, as Paul was just saying. So we raise money, typically once a year. We're doing it right now, and that enables us to go and drill holes. So we now have 9 drill rigs on site, and we can have those 9 drill rigs turning indefinitely. And those drill rigs are really about growth and infill as well as some discovery. And I'll talk about the discovery that we're doing shortly. So we've put that over the last 12 months in resource growth, and the 12 months prior to that. You can see the resource has grown substantially, and remembering this is copper with gold. We've also increased the measured and indicated category as well substantially, which of course is really important for engineering and economic study work. So that's going to come out, those engineering and economic studies will be coming out in the second quarter of next year on the back of this latest drilling that we're doing. And so when you strip it right back, and I keep saying, a copper project with gold, and if anyone's in the know, we realise that copper is very difficult to find and get new projects up and running. They're typically in very difficult jurisdictions. So we're very fortunate, tier 1 jurisdiction with hydroelectric power running over the property, completely permitted, ready to go, and a copper project, not a zinc or a lead or something else. So when you actually compare it to other projects that you might be familiar with, and so when you strip out all the other elements and you look purely at the copper, you can see that greenbay actually stacks up very well compared to some projects that people might know, such as Evolution's Ernest Henry or Sandfire's Black Butte or Maramaka, and there's a whole bunch of them there that you can see. So it is a big, sizable resource already, and as I said, it will continue to grow. It's also got significant grade, which I've talked about, and you can see here on this graph, you can see the yellows and the oranges over that 3 kilometres of strike that we've drilled so far are sort of around that sort of 2%, but but you can see also those reds and pinks and purples coming in, and those are where the really high-grade material is, and you can see it's completely open. So we're over the moon with that, and as I said, these are all true widths that we've done, and there's plenty of drill holes you can see on the ASX platform. In fact, there's something like 350,000 metres of diamond drill core that have been drilled into this ore body now, with a big portion in the measured and indicated category, so really strong confidence on that resource, and the resource being very, very consistent. And just remember, this latest drill hole, that is very, very significant. It is the furthest drill hole out that we've ever drilled, so we will continue to step out, and part of those 6 drill rigs turning underground, several of those are focused on growing that high-grade material, while the rest are focused on infilling that material. So the game plan, as I said, we will be coming out with another resource in the second quarter of next year, another upgrade. We're converting the areas in green into yellow in this image, and the green is being inferred category, and of course we need to get that into the measured and indicated category. And of course, that bottom area that I just talked about is where the really high-grade material is. So that drilling is well and truly underway. You'll see results coming out in that really high-grade area very, very soon, and that should be consistent results. But just remember, this ore body is actually quite incredible when you think about it. All we have ever done, and when we picked up the property, of course we're going to follow it down plunge and just grow it that way. But when we picked up the property, and you can go back to the first announcements we put out, we had every intention to see if there was a parallel lode on either side of the ore body. We were going to drill underneath to look for the feeder zone. And in VMS systems, they always have feeder zones, and those feeder zones are the super high-grade areas. We haven't even drilled for that yet. So this round of funding that we've just completed will allow us to then carry on and start doing some wildcat drilling and see if this ore body actually turns into something globally significant. So we're really excited to actually have the funds now to go and do that. And this could be, instead of having a step change in the project, you could see a major game change happening on this project, which is already a sizable, globally large copper resource. So lots going on. We're very, very happy to be in Canada, and Newfoundland is one of the premier mining jurisdictions there. We have hydroelectric power running over the property that's running at about 5 or 6 cents a kilowatt hour, and of course it's green power as well, which is obviously great. There's a skilled workforce sitting there. We have a port facility that can take 1 million tonnes of concentrate in and out of it every year. Big 50,000 tonne Panamax ships just 5 kilometres away from us. And probably the couple of the real standouts for us is the fact that, we got this project fully permitted environmentally in 45 days with strong community support through the government. So, there's not many places in the world where you have support like that. So think about that for a second. And also think, so Newfoundland, you might not be familiar with it, but here we go. They make 32% of its GDP comes from the mining industry. So think South Australia. South Australia is 32% as well. So this is a mining jurisdiction pushing for mining. We're fully permitted, ready to go on a project that's got serious scale with power and port next to it. So you'll see study work coming out in the second quarter. We really want to get that really high-grade material into that study. It's really important for that study, and you'll see that coming out in second quarter of next year. We will be showing upscaled projects as well. So at the moment we're permitted for a 1.8 million tonne per annum operation. You will see us coming out with what it will look like as a larger scale operation in the future as well. Obviously some key partners there helping us out, such as Entech and Ausenco and Stentech and Knights Peasold, and the normal familiar groups that build and design big mines globally. So this is probably where it really starts to get exciting. So far, we're just discovering and proving copper and gold down plunge and looking around the head frame. That's great. But this is a VMS mineralised system, and we own the whole entire VMS district there. So part of the funding that we've just done enables us to go from 2 rigs to 3 rigs regionally, so that takes us up to 9 drill rigs, and now we can start getting out on some of these regional areas. So previously, in the last few months, we've only just kicked this off with 2 rigs. We can now start getting out to areas such as Tilt Cove. We can get out to Constantinople, the Library, Little Deer, Nugget Pond, places like this now, places that our geologists are like, you have to go and drill these areas. So we're super excited by that now. Everything is close to the head frame and where the processing plant will be built. It's all going to be in trucking distance. This slide here shows, the 3 main target areas that we've been focused on. However, there are 325 targets on this one image alone, and those have to be drilled. They're conductive anomalies, and conductive anomalies means that there's a sulfide there of some sort. The sulfide could be copper, so you have to go and drill it and test it. So for us, there's no point sitting around waiting. Our shareholders want us to go and drill these holes, see if there's more targets there to be drilled, and hopefully more copper and gold on the project. So watch this space. There should be plenty of news flow coming out in 2026 for the regional targeting as well. Quick snapshot of the company. We are ASX and TSX listed, a small portion up on the TSX, mostly here on the ASX. There's strong turnover every day. We are cashed up. I think our new balance is sort of around about $240 million or so plenty to get us going and take us to that next stage of not just growth for over the next 12 months, but de-risking and getting it ready to turn into a mine. We're really fortunate. There's no debt, there's no hedging, there's no streamings, no royalties, there's no offtake. So it's a pure vanilla, ready-to-go project for us to work the best angle out. We are ASX 300 and we are strongly institutional globally as well with good research. So I will leave you with this slide. It is one of my favourite slides. It shows, and I'll bring it back to copper again. You know, there's plenty of operations in the world that when you add, the zinc and the lead and whatever other element onto it, that's great, and you come up with the copper equivalent. But when you strip it right back and knowing that copper right now is the commodity you want to be in along with gold, and you look at what some of the big mines in the world are producing, and we're not showing BHP or Rio Tinto on here, but you have a look at some of the names such as South 32 and Capstone and Sandfire and Evolution, and it shows you what they're producing in the last 12 months for each of those operations. And, you know, to be on the right-hand side of that page, 50,000 tonne or more. So we will be having a 1.8 million tonne per annum startup operation, which will be showing up that can scale up from there. The current grade is 2.2% copper, and I've just shown you that the core area of 20 million tonnes, which is growing, is up around 4% copper. So you can work out the numbers of where you think this project is going to go to, and it's certainly going to be on the right-hand side of the page. So it's a globally significant copper-gold project that is, a project that is very rare to find around the world. So plenty going on, lots of news flow. We do have a war chest there to ramp up extra drill rigs if we have a discovery, and we won't be scared to do that to create value for our shareholders as we move through the engineering stage and towards FID towards the end of next year. And I should say as well, just to finish off with Pickle Crow, we do have a gold asset in our portfolio as well. We will be looking to create value for shareholders. I've said it a couple of times this year. I'm hoping to get something done pre the Christmas break. The reality is that having just done this raise and the Christmas break soon approaching, it's probably going to be in the first quarter of next year. But we have got something lined up to ensure that our shareholders are about to see some real value created from that project, and I look forward to talking about that very soon. So thanks very much for your time, and feel free to come up to the booth afterwards and have a chat. Thanks.